Okay, am I live? I think I'm live. Hey guys, welcome to the stream. In case I just connected now, welcome to the stream. My name is Will. Just gonna do a little bit of housekeeping off screen and then we're gonna dive straight into this live stream. So just bear with me. Just gonna be sharing the link a little bit. What I wanna do in this episode today at CSharp walkthroughs is to do a live demonstration, kind of bouncing off my previous video, my previous live stream, where we had a look at Fluent, the Fluent framework, which is embedded in XAML for UWP. Just gonna get this link very quickly, hopefully. Okay, sweet. What I wanna do is kind of use a reference this time to go into a little bit more depth to actually create like a kind of a fun UI based off popular themes that you might find on some websites. So let me just quickly share this link. Just gonna quickly write this. Okay, nearly done. Nearly done sharing this. All right, guys, I'm just about done with that. Let's have a quick look. Where am I? Okay, I can cross out some tabs. Just as a quick heads up, just in the case, unlikely event that my stream just literally shuts down, I've been having some issues with OBS and it just kind of kicks, it doesn't even kick me out of the stream per se, but it just crashes my whole computer sometimes. It's happened twice altogether. I'll just restart the stream and pick up where I left off, just to give you guys a heads up. Thanks for tuning in. For any of you who are watching this or watching the archive, basically, as the title suggests, I want to kind of just go through some very simple, very basic XAML, using as a reference the idea of creating a user interface for a hypothetical application that you may be developing on UWP, the Universal Windows Platform. I have here one of my projects, which is a XAML pack. And in this XAML pack, there's a few themes, actually. I released a video on LinkedIn, kind of demonstrating this very simplistic theme that I cooked up on XAML, using XAML. And the idea is that I want to create some free XAML packs which contain different XAML themes and just share them with the community. For those of us who may want to kind of, save time, not having to write a prototype UI, you might find something that picks your fancy. So anyway, this one was very quickly cooked up. It kind of sort of has that Instagram vibe to it, I suppose. Nowhere near the kind of, look, but you can kind of see the idea here. Have a bit of a feed thing going on here using the scroll viewer. All of this is achieved in XAML. I have this kind of hamburger icon here. Brings up a little menu. These buttons don't really do anything, but they're just here for placeholder purposes. It's kind of showreel user interface here. So kind of fun stuff there. And I have, I'm going to go through the code as we're going to start from scratch. I'm going to show you the reference UI I'm going to be basing my new design on, my new theme. So I'm going to just quickly collapse this. Hopefully you guys it's visible from the stream, the XAML text. And I'm just going to go through some of this other stuff I've been doing. So I have another view box. This is the memo. I'll just make it visible. This is the memo UI. And again, another very simplistic example of what might be possible using a little bit of XAML and leveraging some of that Fluent functionality. I'll just let that load. Quickly just check the stream to make sure I can see everything all right. Yeah, it's not too bad actually. It's not too bad. computer isn't the quickest in the world, so it might take a hot minute to load. Just want to kind of show you guys some of the stuff I've been cooking up. Trying to keep the XAML as generic as possible. Here we go. So as you can see, you've got this kind of memo user interface. Select date. If you click on that, up comes a calendar picker control. Let's see, today's date is the 5th of December, if I'm not mistaken. And let's just say, name your memo. So music playlist. Oh, I didn't even spell that right. If I could spell. And let's, I don't know, song 1. I'm not gonna put an actual song probably, and just say 2, just as an example, you know. And there you have it. I don't think does this button do anything? No, it's just here for demonstration purposes. And again, I can just demonstrate the fact this is fairly responsive. I can even maximize this, and for the most part, the form is retained. For the sake of demonstration, I'm going to go down. I'm going to first collapse the memo UI. I'm going to go to the next ones just to show you guys. This one is kind of like the job board app, kind of dashboard sort of user interface, which I think I showed in my previous live stream, but I'll show again. Kind of made a couple slight adjustments. Do excuse me. Made a couple slight adjustments. I did some padding, effective padding around the sides of some of the text blocks. Changed the color of this because I didn't like the green color this had before. This is actually a scroll viewer here on the left. And then the idea is if you use this, you can add functionality. Let's say you import this XAML theme into your own project. It cuts out half the work for you, right? And you can maybe add some C# logic that says, okay, you click on this button, and then you have specified text on this text block. So you can see that. Kind of a neat looking theme, if I do say so myself. Hopefully the levels are okay. Let me know, guys, if anyone's live on the chat at any point, if the levels are all right. I'm going to go ahead and collapse this. And I think there's just 1 or 2 more themes. Might not go through all of them. The cards one is the least finished one, so I don't really want to show that off right now. Okay, so guys, let's just jump straight in. I think I've beaten around the bush long enough. All right, so let's see if I got this. I have here, obviously, a very popular website, Netflix. This is just like an example. I'm no way sponsored, affiliated with them. I just thought it's a good user interface, full disclosure to the source of this asset. I will leave in the description. Any issues, I can always take the video, whatever, if anything. But, this is just for educational and entertainment purposes. Quite like this user interface, so I figured I will use this as a reference, but with a twist. I come from a video gaming background, so we're going to use a slightly different graphic at the back. So basically, imagine we have, let's see if I can make some space here. Kind of reluctant to split screen this, but it'll be the easiest way to do it because there's going to be so much screen space taken up. I've got like 2 windows on my Visual Studio plus this here. But if I just place this here, just side by side here, I'm thinking I can have, of course, my main view box would encompass this whole viewport. As you can see here, I have my view box already ready here. And I'm thinking maybe just kind of control things with a stack panel. Now I can set the orientation vertically because here we have like this kind of, I'm not going to use Netflix, obviously. I'm going to just make something up. So I can have, say, on one layer, I can have like a logo, a sign-in button. The stack panel will ensure that all the elements within the panel are kind of stacked, as the name, as it were, in an organized manner. I can have the headline of the landing page, a text box with a button, and then, I'm thinking of parallaxing this background as well, having like an image control or a button. It's just kind of easier to work with buttons when you want to set images, I find. I prefer it, at least. And that means I might have to implement like a scroll viewer and then maybe add some C# logic for a parallax effect. I'll see. If not, I'll just have it as a static page, maybe a bit of a scroll viewer just to kind of move around. I can add a little bit of parallaxing this time. I'll see how it goes. I'm going to leave this off screen for the sake of space. And we're going to get straight into this. Now, as you can see, or as you may have guessed, I'm kind of more into the the light theme side of things. Um, Not really into the dark theme too much because it's a bit harder for me to deal with a palette. But I'm gonna challenge myself. So let's just dive straight into this. We're gonna get straight into this. So let's see. I reckon what's good to start with is a grid control. Probably try to avoid naming conventions too much, but for the sake of everyone and kind of following through this, I'll name my controls in as much as I can. So I'll call this. Yes. Let me just give this a title. I'm so lazy, and this is probably more effort than it's worth. I'm gonna just copy my comment up here and just rename, just so I know what's going on. So this is actually XAML theme 5 in this pack. And what shall I call this? Landing page, something simple. Excuse me. Landing page, XAML theme 5, because I've got 4 previous themes up here in this pack. I'll call this main grid if it will allow me. Main landing grid, because with it, I think I've already got a control with that name. Main landing grid. And let's give it some dimensions. Say height 1000. Width 1500. And then we have it there. I'll just set the visibility after I set the name. So let's say landing page view box. And I may as well set the visibility to visible. Hopefully this video won't take too long. I'm not going for professionalism in terms of like professional tier UI. I'm just going for something simple to convey a little bit of the process for those of us who may want to improve on our XAML skills from a fundamental level. All right, so now that we have our grid, we can start to contain some children elements in here. Again, kind of touching on something I mentioned in a previous video, the viewbox only allows for one child element. In this case, it's the grid, but the grid can contain multiple children elements. So it's a good way to circumvent the limitation of only having one child element in the viewbox. As I said, I'm going to start with a stack panel, see how things go. So I'm going to go ahead with this. I'm going to give it a name. Let's say landing page main stack panel. Give it some dimensions, heights. Let's try 240, just an arbitrary number. Actually, it has to fill the whole length of the screen, I suppose. So width would be 1500 as well. Maybe I include some padding and kind of adjust the corner radius for some nice curvature to the corners. See how this looks. 1500. If for any reason the stream is interrupted, I do live in a communal space. I will pause the stream, whatever, and then get back to things. Let's just make sure things are rendering all right. So background red. Can't really seem to see anything. No worries. Oh, right, yes. That's good. Let me just deal with that. Our stack panel. Forgot to close the tag. There we go. I was wondering why nothing was showing up. Okay, so get rid of that. Let's make this. Actually, you know what? I'll make this stack panel. I'm tempted to make it transparent. I'm going to leave it white for now. Of course, I'm going to try and go for the dark theme, just to kind of go with the whole Netflix vibe. But as a little twist, I'm going to make it like a video games theme instead of Netflix, like movies and TV, because I'm more into games than I would be into TV and movie, I would say, I would argue. All right, so let me bring this reference back up. So kind of looking at this, hopefully it's clear on the stream. I'll just double check. It's a bit laggy. There's a bit of latency there, so I don't want to kind of waste time. Let's go back to things. Hopefully you guys can see that quite clearly. And I'm going to zoom in on the XAML if I don't forget. This level, there's like layer 1, sign in, layer 2, and there's like some padding. Layer 2 would be like this main title. Layer 3 would be the subtitle, so to speak. Layer 4 would be this field and button. Layer 5 would be this kind of caption. and then all the subsequent information underneath. It seems simple enough. I'll just quickly grab that again so I can leave it off screen for my own reference. Okay, I think it might not go amiss to start with a button. Because if we have, say, the name of our app at the top left as like the home button, like say for as is the case with like YouTube, then best is if it's clickable, right? Let's just say, placeholder is quite an unimaginative name. I'll just make something up. Hopefully it's not actually real. I'll just say, firstly, landing page home button. Something simple for that. Content. How about gaming? I don't know. Gaming's. I'm sure there's some kind of media called Gaming Central, so I'm just gonna say I'm gonna make it as generic as possible. Placeholder. This is so boring, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Gaming placeholder. Why not? Alright, and I got a bit of dimensions there, but I'm gonna set the height. Say like 40. Width 40. So the thing is, because we're containing this button in a stack panel, I don't really have the freedom to move it around as such. I'm gonna just undo that because I think I just changed something. Which is exactly what we need. Working within the limitations of constraint actually ironically gives us the freedom we need to create, should I say, user interface that makes sense. You know, we don't want a lack of order. So actually working within what we'd consider limits and constraints, I think, is one of the most powerful forms of creative expression, in my opinion. So now let's see. Now this is an interesting challenge. Firstly, let's kind of make this look a bit better. I'm firstly gonna make the background of the button transparent. And I really don't like the default font option, so I'm gonna change that to what I personally like. It's like Banscript is my go-to. If I'm saying that right. Up the text font. Really don't like that font too much. Let's see what else is here. Anything fun? Something kind of logo-y. MV Boli. This looks kind of cool. I was going to change the name, but you know what? This is just for as an example. So I'll leave that there. Now I'm just thinking there's another challenge, is the fact that on one column, or rather one row, if we consider this a row of our horizontal, or our stack panel, which is actually stacking things on top of each other, should I say, we have like this horizontal configuration. We could get away with this by maybe introducing 2 stack panels, so like 2 stack panels split, or maybe just adding that freely there. But when we start to resize our controls, I don't want anything to kind of come out of form. So what kind of comes to my mind? For the login button, I will simply just add another stack panel. Before I get to that, I am going to quickly add some more controls underneath. Now, what I like to do when I want to add some padding is that I tend to introduce like a kind of null text block. So if I go ahead and make this text block, I don't even have to give it a name. I just have to give it a height. Say it's like 60. And I can just leave a little comment there. Spacer text block. And all this text block's functionality is just to create space between controls. as such. Now, we're going to pretty things up towards the end. I'm going to extend this to just about like 3/4 of the way down. Then I'm going to add the text block this time. And I'll say landing page title TB for text block. Heights 90 maybe. Width 1500. Kind of keep it consistent with the screen resolution that I'm working with. And then I'll of course give it text. Let me say something like unlimited gaming access stream to you. I'm just making this stuff up. That would be pretty cool. So what I'll do, oh snap, I don't think I can use this outside of the quotation mark. But I'll use a comma instead now. And I'm gonna just make that bold. Semi-bold for band script. Make this text a lot bigger. Now, I'm gonna deal with the formatting a little bit. And I think there's a text wrap option here somewhere. I'm not too sure where it is. Let's see if I can find it. I'm sure there's a way to, I think it's a property, so I'll just quickly check. Text wrapping wrap. That helps me deal with this. And I'll just make the center aligned. Unlimited gaming access stream to you. That'd be a really cool service, wouldn't it? Sure, there's services like that. So I'm just fleshing out the. Don't really like this logo font, but you know we'll ride with that for now. And then now I'm gonna get another spacer. Maybe I'll make it a little bit more modest in height, like 20. Then I'm gonna introduce another text block. And I'll call this landing page subtitled TB. TB for text block. I'll take away the bold modifier there. Change the text. Play wherever you go. I'll leave it at that. A catchy little subtitle. Maybe I'll make that a bit more than that. Like 36. That doesn't look too bad. And hopefully you can kind of see where I'm going with this. I'll lift that up a little bit. Because if we kind of, again, refer to our reference, I kind of want to have space for this field and button and another caption there. So what I'll do. And as you may have already noticed, I don't even have the toolbox here. I don't like having it there because I try to avoid drag and drop where I can. I just write from the XAML 90% of the time because it's just a lot faster than getting the stuff from there, waiting for the designer to catch up and stuff. Just write it straight from the XAML if you ask me. Only use it to just like as a reference, right? You got to know what the controls are, so you got to explore the toolbox. And it's not a bad thing. It's just I prefer to use the XAML straight away. It achieves the same goal. It doesn't really make a difference like that, especially when you're editing the markup. Anyway, so what do we need? Let's use a text box. Did I put a spacer? Yeah, spacer, text block. Okay, so let's see. Text box. Do excuse me. Name, landing page, text box, not to be confused with the text block, so I'll write it out. Always good to define the dimensions. Height will be 40 for now. Width, 1500. And of course the text. Might as well. Let's say, please enter your email to begin registration. And what I'll do, some quick formatting. Where is the size? I think it's under appearance. No, where's it gone? Text layout. Just looking for font size. I literally can't find it. Text. It's down here. Wow, how can I not find that? Anyway, let me just quickly lift that up. I've lost it. Let's go here. Just find it quickly. I actually opened the tab already. That's really bugging me now. So anyway, it's not a problem, but it's just before I do that, I lost where I was in the properties pane, basically. Not background. I actually want to deal with the foreground to change the color, the black color. Again, I'm dealing with a light theme. Maybe I'll stick this on its head and kind of go over dark theme. Sorry, excuse me. I'm supposed to be doing this in a dark theme, but I'm starting off in light theme anyway. Better said. Then I'm going to deal with all the color alterations if I need to later. Just makes things a little easier for me. Foreground, let's try light gray. That should affect the font color. Let's see what we can do here. I'm going to just squish this here. And let me see if this will work. I want to add some padding on this side. So I want to push this. I want to offset this a little to the left because I want this button to kind of be balanced in the viewport against this, against the field. So I'm going to see if I can play around with the margin property. Not too sure if this is going to work. Start with 0. So the margin you can use for as a means to add padding to your controls. So it works left, top, right, and bottom, I think. So let's add a minus value to this. And as you can see, it shifts the control to the left. So let's go to 90. But then again, I want to add the button on the same line, which, you know what? Let's take a few liberties here. Just to make my life a little bit easier, I'm going to put the button underneath. So on this field, let's play with the corner radius. Make this look a little bit more modern. Make it like 12. So we have this kind of like curved border thing going on. Border brush, I want it to kind of be a light color. Like a light gray. Let's make it dark gray. Maybe I'll increase the border thickness. 4 is enough usually for kind of a thick border, something like that. Can I find the text? It's on the brush. Oh my goodness, I can't even find where to increase the text size. I know it's here somewhere. It would be under text. I don't know why I'm struggling with this. Oh, it's because I changed it. Goodness me. Alright, anyway. Yeah, that looks great, actually. I think that looks quite... Yeah, this looks good. Alright, sweet. Quite a lot of negative space up there. Let me see if I can just play with that. There should be a little bit of a spacer between these two controls. So I'm going to copy and paste this between them. Add some more space, and I'm just going to play around with spacer, with this space text block. Bring it up a little bit. Narrow this control out, down a little bit. It's kind of eyeballing the whole thing. Okay, doesn't look too bad. And then what I'll do, grab another spacer text block. And then this time I'll add a button. Oops, I did that wrong. So X name, landing page register button. Make that capital B. And then I'll deal with the content. So that let's go. And the background. Again, I'm sticking with the light theme for now. I'm gonna see if I'll change it to dark theme afterwards. My application here, my UI. And yeah, so oops, I just dragged something and now I'm scared. Thought I undocked something. So there's the button all the way there. Stretch it out if possible. Like so. Just want it like here. Now it's anchored to the left, so again, I'm going to introduce the margin technique. 0, 0, 0, 0. This time it's going to be a positive value because I want to push the button to the right. Let's try 200. Let's try and center this. 300 looks okay-ish, but this has to be a little smaller. Like that. So I'm going to try like 400 till I get it nice in center. Okay, so maybe like 550. Ooh, that looks okay. 545. It's a little bit of fine tuning. 540. For the most part, that's not too bad. Yes. Okay, I feel like it's still leaning to the right a little bit. Just gonna copy this because I need the corner radius. I can't bother to type all that out again. Corner radius 12. There's no point for a corner radius if there isn't actually a if you can't see the actual color of the button, the border. So let's see how this looks with a light border brush. I'm gonna go for light gray. So you can just about see it there. Border thickness, I'm gonna go for 2. Okay, so that doesn't look too bad. I don't think that looks too bad. Alright, so there's a text, yeah, there's a spacer here. Like this. And I'll change the text color to maybe dim gray. Just kind of slightly darker than dark gray, but lighter than black. So, go for foreground, dim gray. Kind of just lets the color sit in the mix kind of nicely. Okay, guys, so we're kind of halfway there. Let's just fire this up and see what happens. Let's have a look at what this looks like. Because remember, this is the reference that I'm literally eyeballing to kind of help with my design right now with my XAML theme. So it's quite simplistic when you break it down into its bare components. You have like stacks of controls, you know. I got a nice image that I found. I'll leave a link to the full website that I found it for the background. So here we have this landing page. Nothing nearly as good as anything professional that you find in this domain, but the idea is here. I don't like this logo. Oh, but again, it's just here as an example. I might even get rid of that. I don't really like it. This is just an example landing page. Got my field, my button. The idea is this is for like a fictitious streaming gaming service. I can maximize this. You know what? This looks actually kind of nice. This actually looks legit. I'm sorry. I like the simplicity. That's what gets me with design kind of thing. I'm not saying this looks great. I'm not saying it looks amazing, but I'm saying I like the direction. All right. Anyway, enough of me waffling there. Cross that out. Now this is where things get a little bit fun. I now want to implement a background. So let's go back to my reference, see how they did this. There's like this neat little faded background. Put this off screen. I have prepared an image. Resolution may not be perfect. And now here's the thing. I'm reluctant to leave this in the stack panel because it's obviously gonna have implications on the positioning, which will be work against what I'm trying to achieve. So rather, I'm going to place not a button. Okay, I'm gonna try this with a button, and I'm gonna maybe explain why. Short TLDR, I'm a little lazy. Really, I should be using an image control, but I kind of like working with buttons. So let's just see what we can do here. Let's say background button. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to disable the buttons. So what is it? Is enabled. This way we don't click it. It's false. Height. Let's just say 1200. I don't want it to be completely full screen for now. Width. Actually, it should be less than 1,000. I think 1,500. Yeah, I've actually cropped it out. Say 900. Cool. And maybe I can add a little bit of a margin. 0, 0, 0, 0. I want to push this up to the top. So I'm going to add a negative value there. Let me see if anything happens. Yeah, so -10, -20. Let's try -90. Oh, excellent. I think I just got it flush up there. I'm trying to align it with the top there. Now I'm going to need a background. So if you look carefully, there's a little image here, DC. Actually, that's of Dreamcast. I found this nice Dreamcast collage. I'm going to leave a link in the description to the original source, as I didn't create the graphic. So I'm going to reference this, and I've kind of forgotten off the top of my head. So I'm going to look at my markup, as I've used this technique I'm about to implement already. It was under this my social media style UI, I think. I had some images on buttons. So if I just grab this markup and just then change the properties. So here, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to expand my tag. I'm going to close that and say button. And by expanding it, it means I can add controls within it. In this case, it's going to be an image. No, I'm going to quickly change that for renders my picture at the background. I don't know. It's already there, but that's not the image I want. I want DC collage mask PNG. Now, it might not show straight away because the image is actually behind this control. What happens is because the way XAML renders the controls, it kind of goes sequential. So because this is at the top, because I have declared or instantiated this button control here and subsequent controls underneath, it just means the button is rendered before the stack panel. If I were to say right-click that, which is kind of long, but I'll do anyway. Okay, it's not like that. Okay. But if I say grab that instead, I was going to do order bring to front. Say paste it at the top. As you can see, the image is on top, right? Bit blurry, but it will get the job done for now. I'm going to take this out, but I want this at the back. So I'm going to leave it here, and I'm going to add some opacity filters to mask the background. Now, if we take a look at this, it's kind of a clean opacity layer. It's like fully transparent in terms of the borders of the controls, but there is a bit of shadow, like this kind of shading mask effect. So let's see if we can deal with this challenge here. So what I'll do, I think I pressed the wrong thing off screen. That's fine. Quickly just check the chat, make sure things are healthy there. It's all good. All right. So what I'll do now, so what's actually covering my image? I have this stack panel, which actually has a white background. For starters, I'm gonna make it transparent. Now, okay. Let's work with this. Let's work with this. Let's work with this. All right, I know what to do. I had to think about that. Let's bring this. Oops. Actually, you know what? I will make the stack panel a little bit less opaque, so you can kind of see through the field. As you can see there, it's kind of nice. Let's actually make that 0.9. And what I'll do, I need a high resolution picture, but it's fine. I'll work with this. I'll just edit this. As for the image, or actually rather the button, opacity is 0.6. Yeah, so it looks a bit frosted. Trying to make things blend in the mix. I might end up leaving this as a light theme. Now, I happen to use paint.net to help with the editing. I don't know if it's actually going to render. I mean, if I have the window. I don't want to waste time, but I will. I might have to. I'll see. Because, okay, actually doesn't look too bad. Sorry, I'm kind of talking to myself. I do that a lot. So I'm going to get rid of this logo. I don't like it. It looks a bit more sound. Move that here. You know what? Because it's a Dreamcast kind of collage at the back, I'm going to change the text a little bit. Unlimited classic gaming. And this text is it's blending too much with the background, so I'm going to change the foreground to dim gray. And you know what might be interesting? Thinking of adding another layer. But before I do that, thinking of adding another layer to the landing page. Let's have a little review of what's going on here. Mind you, this reference of the Netflix UI is a dark theme, but when you really consider it, the graphic I have is kind of light anyway. There's a bit of a light hue to it. Now, bar the fact that the image itself is actually quite blurry in resolution, I like where this is going. Just needs a little bit more refinement to get it kind of up to par. If I leave that there, obviously to compare these two is actually unfair because this Netflix UI is actually like professional work. I would say, compared to what I'm cooking up here. But you can see the idea, right? Even kind of ripping that off, but no, I'm just joking around. Okay, cool. Maybe I'll make this a little bit more opaque. See, as a highlight is a bit more opaque. It's just easier on the eyes to read, so I'll bring the opacity up to solid. This button, I might change the color. And I'm thinking of adding like a scroll viewer if there's time. But I kind of like where this is going. It's kind of nice. And I'm going to center this as well. I think it'll look a bit more professional as far as the term goes for what I'm doing with my XAML. So, click this. I'll go to the paragraph. Hopefully this mic is actually aligned all right. Go to the paragraph spacing. See if I can center this. Looks a little bit more orderly. You know what? I really want to be more aggressive with the masking effect, but that's more to do with, you know what was kind of cool WPF? It had bitmap effects, and I don't know if bitmap effects are still here in UWP. I know with like Win2D, you can do all sorts. We're not using that. We're using XAML. But what I will do, if not already, I'll add some corner radiuses to this button background to add some curvature. Corner radius, let's make it like 10, see what happens. Oh, I didn't see a difference. Add corner radius to the image if possible. No, it's not there. Okay, cool. Maybe I'll add a bit more aggression to the corner radius for the button. And let me see what's going on here. Usually you'll be able to see the effect. Border brush, make it black just to see what's going on. Ah, I see it. So it's just a little bit off screen. I'm clipping the border ever so slightly. Let's kind of bring that here. Nice. Just pan it to the left a little bit. Just try and fit that. And then what I'll do, I'll make the border transparent. You can still kind of see the cornering there. I'll even go a little bit more aggressive. Because these days, curved borders are kind of popular. Something like that. I'm going to make this a solid opacity. Where's it gone? And as much as I can, let me try. Let me see what happens. Doesn't make a difference, just because the parent control is overriding the opacity effect. So I have to work individually. So I'll go back to the stat panel and make it fully opaque. Fascinating. What is the color of this text box? Now I'm going to add a separate opacity here, because I do like slight opacity there. I think it'll look quite nice. Like this, 0.8. Just enough so I can still read the text, but I can still see a little bit of the background for style. Oh, and 0.75, I think it's quite a nice balance. Thinking of having like a soft border here if possible. Maybe I'll add a background just to help, so you can kind of read that a little better. Kind of veering off, seeing what might work. Oh, you can't put fill colors on text blocks, I don't believe, but that's fine. I kind of like it better like this anyway. Always add another control there, but nah. No, actually, you know what I could do? No, okay, that's fine. I'm going to make this a little bit more bold so it's easier to read. And I'm more or less done here, guys. I am more or less done with this kind of concept, proof of concept. I'm probably going to avoid C# functionality, because maybe in this video, because I think I've been going on for a while now. This is approaching 50 minutes. So it's quite long. Maybe I'll bounce off of this for the next one, add some parallax scrolling. I might change this color. Background. I'll add background. Let me see. What's a good color here? What kind of shades of red do we have? Dark red? I've already got a background somewhere. Where's it gone? And I'll just use the control, actually, the property panel to adjust the color. Not really working there, don't know why. Oh snap, what have I done? Okay, and what I'll do, because I really don't like how that looks, Try pale red. Yeah, that looks a bit better. Why not add some opacity there? Kind of blend it. Transparent. Ah, that's not right. Leave that white. I actually wanted the border brush. Make the border brush, if possible, transparent. I knew it's here somewhere. Where is it? Okay, change the fonts. Seago font doesn't work for me. Semi-bold band script. Increase the size a little bit. Okay, a little less than that. Make it bold if it's not bold already. Oops. Nearly done, guys. Have a little look. Our progress. Just a little light workshop here. Just give any of you guys an idea of how to do some fundamental XAML editing for those of us who might be starting off the journey. Right. I'm going to wrap up soon because this has been going for a hot minutes. Okay. I don't think that looks the worst. If anything, I would use like an image editor to just mask the background. I'd already used a mask in the image editor, hence this kind of faded effect. It kind of is more opaque in the center of the image, but I need to be more aggressive on the side so it actually really fades into the background. But I don't want to open my image editor now, just a bit of time. But no, I kind of like how this looks. Maybe in the next video, I will add a scroll view and some parallax scrolling. Got this, got the button, force yourself and move. Play, like you can play anywhere, this fictitious streaming service. Got background, yeah, it looks kind of nice. And just for the sake of comparison, that's that one. This is my reference that I used. Again, well, this is Netflix, yeah, it's just kind of the same kind of idea. So the title wasn't fully clickbait, Netflix style UI, gaming related. Alright, so I think this kind of brings me to the end of the video. Guys, thank you if you tuned in. Thank you if you're watching the archive. A little bit of housekeeping since we're here. I'm gonna be releasing my XAML packs, at least some of them, and new ones to come. I'm just figuring out where I want to put them. If I want to host them on a separate website or like on a page or something like my LinkedIn group or something like that. All relevant information should be in the description. And yeah, thank you. Thank you for watching. I hope you got some educational value, if not some entertainment value, out of this stream. This is Williams from CSharp Walkthroughs. Again, this kind of streaming landing page user interface. Let's just make it a little bit more bigger so you can have a look. Not like I only spent like, the best part of an hour within an hour on this. But it kind of conveys the idea. I'm not affiliated with Sega, Dreamcast, Netflix, anything. It's just ideas. It's just reference that I used, really. Thanks for watching. My name is Will, and I bid you all a great day. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.